Alrighty. So, diet and acne. The relationship between diet and acne is fundamental. The reason that I know this is because I've read it from many nutrition journals when I worked at the Central Michigan University Library. And I experienced this myself as a personal experiencer of acne. I never really had bad acne, but I did have it, especially when I would shave. And especially like I got a lot of redness. A lot of people get like, really, really red skin and they don't know why. There's a lot of different reasons for it. I'll get into that in a second. The first thing I want to talk about is the face washing myth, and I guess there is some relationship between washing your face and acne, but it's really not what people think it is. I mean, really, you only have to wash your face to get dead skin off, and you shouldn't really have a lot of dead skin on your face to begin with. If you do, you're probably not eating the right diet. What a lot of people don't realize is you really want to match your diet to your ancestral diet. For example, I came from, I know my mom's side primarily came from Sweden. So the Swedish people eat a lot of fish. They have a largely fish based diet, and they also eat a lot of vegetables and things like that. And they have a lot of omega 3 in their diet. And that will actually help prevent dead skin from accumulating on your face and really all over your body, but especially on your face because your face tends to have a higher turnover of skin cells than any other part of your body. It's got more oil pores, and it's got basically more cells than any other area of skin in your body. So basically, you only need to wash it to get dead skin off, but you're not washing it to really get rid of the acne. You just kind of every now and then removing. I mean, if you notice that there's dead skin building up, but you don't really need to wash your face all the time. Honestly, I mean, you still want to shower. I'm not saying you shouldn't shower, but as far as like washing your face, I mean, how much do you really wash your face in nature? You know what I mean? Like our bodies have ways to combat this. It's just that our diet kind of gets so bad that people think that, oh, I need to wash my face to get rid of this, but no, that's really not the underlying issue. Yes. Hello. There I am again. Okay, where was I? Hello. Okay, so back on topic. Now that my mic's working again. Um. Okay. So we already talked about face washing. So since I talked about face washing and it's not that, a lot of people are gonna be saying, well, then what is it? And I already talked a little bit about diet and acne, and well, if you ask me, it's really because of the modern day diet. I mean, it's so different from our ancestral diet, of mostly vegetables and raw food. And then today, you go like it's really hard. Honestly, even right now, I'm getting kind of hungry, and I'm thinking, where should I go to eat, or should I go to the grocery store and get some stuff and make some stuff? And I'll probably end up going to the grocery store, honestly, because there's really not that much good food that you can get pre-made. I mean, unless you know what you're looking for, but it's really few and far between. I mean, even if you go to the store and get a salad, which is probably the closest thing to what you would eat in nature, I mean, even that is going to be so far from what you'd eat in nature. It's going to be loaded with probably some type of dressing that has trans fats in it, and and all kinds of preservatives. I mean, if you look at the ingredient label, I mean, that's one thing. If you're really getting serious about, getting rid of acne using your diet, you have to start reading ingredient labels and making sure that there isn't all this garbage. Basically, you just want to cut those ingredient labels down to as small as possible. I mean, the more junk you see in there, the more that's going to cause your skin to excrete oils, and that's what the acne bacteria are going to feed on, and it's going to make it worse. And it's going to give you inflammation in a lot of cases, which is just like really red skin. A lot of people have like really red skin and they don't know why, including myself. And now I know why, but do I have a perfect diet? No. But at least I recognize why I get these problems now. And I just kind of want to help you guys, see this yourselves. And you don't have to make the change, but at least then, now that you can at least make the informed decision. A lot of people don't like to talk about this. For one thing, acne is kind of a taboo topic to talk about to begin with, and I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad. Certainly you should be happy with your skin the way it is, but I'm just trying to help you, and honestly, it's not just acne. I mean, there's all kinds of other problems going on. If you see it on your skin, there's probably other things going on inside your body as well that are mirroring this, and your body's aging. So even if you don't have acne, you can probably take some of this with a grain of salt, and still help, it'll help you age less. I mean, there's nothing that'll stop you from aging other than freezing yourself, but at least you can lessen it, with these tips. Or you don't have to listen to me, whatever you want to do. Okay, so how acne forms. It forms, you probably already heard this, it forms from plugs in the sebaceous gland, which is our oil-producing glands. And basically what happens is your skin is constantly producing oil to lubricate itself and to protect it from the elements. And when you eat certain foods, especially high sugar foods, I mean, that's one of the worst. Also, trans fats have been linked to increased oil production. Anything that really messes with your hormones is gonna cause your skin to produce way more oil than it should, honestly. And a lot of that has to do with, again, your ancestry. I mean, you got to keep in mind, some tribes have been living off of milk and bread and cheese, and that's all they've been eating for the past 2,000 years. So some people might be able to eat cheese, bread, sugar all the time and never get a single pimple. And the simple reason for that is because they've been naturally selected out of it. I mean, if you think about it, again, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad, but I mean, acne is not as attractive as clear skin. I mean, it's just simply not. And again, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help anybody who's suffering with it. I personally suffer from it myself, so I can say that without feeling bad. But that's honestly why a lot of people don't get it, is because, they lived in an area where their ancestors were eating only bread and cheese for 2,000 years, and yes, they were naturally selected out of that, or their bodies have just, evolved to cope with that. And that's why, you might have friends who they can eat McDonald's all day long, or, I don't want to pick on McDonald's, but any bread or any type of sugar or anything, they can eat it all day long and they won't get any pimples because their skin simply doesn't respond to insulin the way that some people's skin does, and there's varying degrees to that. And honestly, depending on your severity, that's gonna basically determine how many changes you're gonna want to make. I mean, if you don't really have that severe of acne, then you could probably just cut out a couple things and you'd be good to go, and just cut out maybe soft drinks, and cut fast food to maybe once a day or something, and try not to eat a lot of bread, and eat some vegetables, and you should be good. But if you have like severe acne, then you're probably going to need to cut out just about everything grain based. I mean, really, and you're just going to have to switch to a vegetable based diet. I mean, if you want to get rid of it, you know what I mean? And when I say vegetables, I mean high quality organic vegetables. I'm not talking like, you can't eat iceberg lettuce all day and expect to get rid of it. Your body needs real nutrients. It's starving for real nutrients. And not only is it starving for real nutrients, but it's being inflamed by all these foreign substances that are pumped into our food, basically to keep the shelf life longer, and it's just destroying your body, and basically the corporations make more money off of it because it's got longer shelf life, but it destroys your body in the process. Okay, so since acne forms from the sebaceous glands, and those sebaceous glands respond to insulin, that's why what you eat affects your skin because, well, that's one of the reasons. Actually, I mean, it's very profound. I mean, everything you eat goes into your bloodstream. So really, I mean, anytime you're eating preservatives and pesticides, you're getting pesticides in your bloodstream and therefore on your skin. But that's not really the cause. The main cause, from what I understand, from what I've read, is due to insulin, and specifically glycemic index has a lot to do with it. Um, like the glycemic index of the food that you're eating, that makes a big difference. For example, the glycemic index of something like a soft drink is really high. Um, Wait, okay, let's go back. Okay, so you can use chemicals like benzoyl peroxide, which is in Proactive, to kill the bacteria that feed upon the oil from the sebaceous gland. And that causes apparent reductions of acne. But there is a problem with that, though. Um, it kills the bacteria, but it also, in the process, ages your skin. Um, the severity of the aging depends on how often you use it. I mean, if you're using it all the time, it'll seriously cause wrinkles very quickly. And that's just one thing. I mean, it's you're putting a chemical on your skin, and that's just gonna age it like crazy. And if you look at the bottle, I mean, it's got all kinds of other stuff in there too, and none of that is really helping your skin. All it's doing is just killing the bacteria, so that basically, because what happens is your skin becomes inflamed, and then it fills with oil, and the bacteria eat the oil, and your skin respond to that bacteria by attacking it with white blood cells, which is what your body does during any infection. Your body attacks it with white blood cells, white blood cells, white blood cells. They all die and they build up and they cause that white head basically that you see at the top of some types of acne. Um, and that's those are actually dead white blood cells is what that is. But the reason that they're there is because they're trying to kill the bacteria that are on your skin, which is the same thing that benzoyl peroxide does. So basically, benzoyl peroxide takes over the job of your white blood cells. But the problem with that is, like I said, I mean, you're putting a chemical on your skin. You're not really dealing with the underlying cause of the problem. You're just dealing with the symptoms. That would be like the basic equivalent of me just like instead of if I need back surgery, for example, or if I need something's wrong with my back, if I just take Vicodin all day, that's not like curing the problem. It's just dealing with the symptoms. I'm trying to get you guys to the root of your problem, and my problem, indeed. So basically, instead of chemicals and drugs like Accutane, and I hate to pick on Accutane, but it does have side effects. I mean, and um, some of those side effects are like thin skin, birth defects, depression. I mean, there's all kinds of problems with taking drugs like Accutane. And certainly, it does help, but and in some cases, if you have super severe acne, you may have to take Accutane and do what I'm saying. But I highly recommend staying away from drugs. As much as possible. You really don't want to put any types of drugs in your body, and that's one thing I've learned as I've gotten older. The less drugs that you can put in your body, the better. In general, really. I mean, overall, there's just nothing good about drugs because they basically condition your body to require them, and you just don't want your body to require drugs. You'd rather be like a healthy individual, just on your own. That's really ultimately the goal here. So, let's talk about the number one sub goal. Stabilizing your blood sugar is absolutely the best thing that you can do if you're looking to get rid of acne. And the reason that stabilizing your blood sugar is such a good thing is because when your blood sugar spikes, your body releases insulin. And I already talked about how insulin causes your skin to produce more oil. So therefore, blood sugar spikes equal more insulin. And there's different things you can do to reduce your insulin or your blood sugar spikes. Probably the best thing to do would be to just avoid processed sugars, or really sugar in general. I mean, and if you're eating fruit, try and eat not a lot of it at a time. You don't really want to eat a lot of fruit at one time. Even though fruit is healthy, I mean, in small quantities, it definitely has antioxidants and it's got a lot of nutrients. It's certainly better than eating fast food, but you don't you don't want to overdo it with natural sugar just as much as artificial sugars. That being said, artificial sugars are way worse for your body, though. Artificial sugars have been processed, and what happens is they dissolve into your bloodstream way quicker than real sugars. So, like, for example, raspberries versus processed sugar that's in a bag. If you eat raspberries, even though they have the same amount of sugar in them as, let's say you take like a tablespoon of sugar out of like a bag, your generic, I forgot what that sugar company is, but the granulated sugar bag. If you take a teaspoon or a tablespoon of sugar out of that, and you take an equivalent amount of sugar out of the raspberries, the difference is that the processed sugar is going to dissolve into your bloodstream extremely quickly. Because it's already been processed. It's not even really like a food. It's more so almost a chemical at that point. So it just dissolves in your body almost like a drug. Whereas like the raspberries, it's a natural sugar, so it kind of dissolves in your bloodstream much slower. And so, yes, you can overdo it with fruit, but it's harder to do. And I still caution you to avoid large amounts of fruit, but if it's between fruit and soft drinks, I would go with fruit and then drink some water. That can help you, like if you're craving soft drinks, what I recommend is eating a piece of fruit and drinking some water, because it tastes like a soft drink almost. And it honestly tastes better because, you don't feel this carbonated, like, sugar buzz, caffeine rush, like, ugh. And then, yeah, basically, if you can stabilize your blood sugar, that's really going to help. Your skin's not really going to produce nearly as much oil. So, and then when it doesn't have as much oil, then the acne bacteria don't have as much food, and they will disappear because they won't have enough oil. So I already talked about corn syrups and refined sugars and stuff. One other thing I want to talk about real quick is if you do like to make sweet items, and who doesn't? I mean, cookies and whatnot are really delicious. One thing that I really suggest that you do is that you start replacing some of the ingredients in the food that you're making with natural sugars and natural alternatives. For example, if you like to make cookies, and you usually make them with, bleached white refined flour, try making them. Oh yeah, and so you like making them with bleached white refined flour, and you like making them with, probably the generic sugar that comes in like a bag and has been heavily processed. Instead, try making cookies out of whole grain wheat or some other grain. Make sure it's whole grain, and use like turbinado sugar or cane sugar. And then for chocolate chips, you can use organic dark chocolate chips. It might not taste as sugary as the stuff you're used to, but they still taste pretty good. I'm going to tell you right now, you make some almond dark chocolate cookies, and they don't taste bad. And they're not nearly as bad for your body because you can even substitute some of the flour with almonds. Like you can grind up almonds and use some of that as flour, and that'll help kind of give you less grains. And also, almonds are really high in a lot of different types of nutrients. So then you'll get like a healthy cookie. Or you can just, cut them down, or you can not listen to me. It doesn't really matter to me. It's up to you. The choice is yours. And basically the reason that you want to do that is because whole grain flour doesn't spike our blood sugar as much as white flour does, and same with the cane and turbinado sugars. Plus, they actually have nutrients in them. So regular cookies pretty much have absolutely no nutrients in them whatsoever, and they're inflammatory. And people wonder why their skin breaks out after they eat them. It's because they spike their blood sugar like crazy. And basically, you're going to want to stay away from eating large quantities of bleached refined grains. Those have been shown to spike blood sugar as well. Basically because they're refined, they've been ground down. It dissolves into your bloodstream really quickly. And white bread, actually, I'm not sure why white bread spikes our blood sugar so badly. For some reason, I can't remember exactly what the reason is. You'll have to take my word for it. Or maybe not. You don't have to take my word for it. But I would recommend staying away from white bread. And really all breads in general, honestly. I've read a lot of different studies about why that is. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that gluten binds up in our digestive tract. And the more we learn about diet and acne connection, the more we learn about the gut, like just the gut general health connection. Like basically you want to have the healthiest digestive tract you can. And I don't think white bread's really the best thing for that. It's got a lot of gluten in it, and our bodies just don't really like it. I mean, it's not really a natural. In the wild, we didn't really eat a lot of bread. We ate more so vegetables and small amounts of fish and stuff like that. And that's kind of what you want to mirror if you're trying to get healthy skin in general. You want to stay away from all this fast food and processed food, white breads and stuff. And unfortunately, that's basically all you get from modern day fast food. I mean, let's think about it. You go to the store, or let's say you go to McDonald's or something like that, or Burger King. You're gonna get probably a burger and fries. And let's break that down. I mean, what is that? That's white bread. So we'll start out. That's white bread, and it's got a ton of pesticides and preservatives in it because that keeps the shelf life longer. You can take a burger from McDonald's and put it in a jar, and it'll stay the same for a year. And the reason for that is because it's loaded with pesticides and preservatives. And I know people have already talked about that. That's not my point. The point is when you put that in your body releases insulin because of it. And that's the simple truth. I mean, but going back to the burger, I mean, you got white bread, and then what's the next layer? I mean, you got a tomato, like maybe one slice of a tomato, which tomatoes don't even really have a lot of nutrients to begin with. I mean, tomatoes hardly have anything in them at all. Honestly, organic refined tomato products are actually healthier for you than tomatoes because organic refined tomato products have more concentrated nutrients. So yeah, that's a little bit about why natural foods are better. Oh yeah, and then whatever. Oh yeah, so moving on to dairy. Dairy is another one of the acne culprits, which I'm going to talk about. Dairy's been shown by numerous studies that I've seen to have a positive correlation with acne. There's a lot of different reasons for that, or reasonings, that people have come up with to figure out why that's the case. I personally, from what I've seen, I believe that it has to do with the hormones and with the fact that it's also not an incomplete hormone profile a lot of times. If you drink, for example, 2% milk or 1% milk or even fat-free milk, any type of reduced fat milk, what they do is they remove some of the fat from the top of the milk, which you'd think would be a good thing because it's got less fat in it. But the problem with that is at that point you have half the hormones that you had in the milk to begin with. And we're mammals, so are cows. And we're not the same mammal, but we're both mammals. And we do have similar hormone profiles. I mean, there's certain things in the cow milk that, that we relate to as well. And a lot of times when you drink milk, your body actually responds to those hormones as if they were your own hormones. And if you're drinking whole milk in small quantities, that's not really a big deal because your body deals with it. But if you drink large quantities of milk, especially 2%, 1% and fat-free, the problem is that you're getting these massive quantities of these hormones. And since the fat's been removed, you're only getting half of them. So you're getting like this weird, unnatural type of hormone bomb, basically, that just goes off in your body. And you're only getting half of them. So, there's hormones that balance out the other hormones in the milk. And one of the theories is that a lot of these hormones get taken out, and your body basically doesn't know what to do. It freaks out, and it just releases a ton of insulin. And that's one of the reasonings for why dairy's been shown to have a relationship with it. If you don't believe me, I mean, you can drink a ton of 2% milk, if you currently experience acne, and you'll probably see an increase in it, or really any type of dairy product in general. You can also replace dairy with soy milk and things like that. I haven't really tried that. I just keep my milk consumption to a minimum in dairy. Um, and then when I do drink milk, I drink like organic vitamin D milk, and that doesn't seem to cause any problems for me anyway, as long as I keep it to reasonable quantities. If I drink a lot of it, definitely causes problems. But I think like if you are gonna do cow milk, do organic vitamin D milk. That way the cows were raised most of the time humanely. Most of the organic farmers also raise their cows humanely and stuff like that. Those two are usually in tune with one another. And basically that way you'll get healthy cows, which is the first thing you need for healthy milk, and then you'll get the whole hormone profile. So it's still gonna mess with your body, but it's not gonna be like half of what your body thinks it's about to get, and then it has to release the other half itself. So, yeah, you might wanna take a look at that. Try reducing your dairy intake and seeing if that has any effect on it. It may or may not. I'm not sure. For me, it definitely did. But a lot of times dairy is combined with white bread, like for example, pizza. I mean, now that I've talked about all this, can you see how pizza might cause a little bit of problems? As delicious as it is. Okay, so let's go back to why some people never get acne despite having poor diets. It's a simple and complex answer. I mean, the simple answer is just that some people have evolved out of it. I mean, they it's not attractive to have acne. So let's face it, people naturally selected people with clearer skin in general, but that's not always the case. I mean, and not everybody is as shallow as that, So not everybody's evolved out of it, because just because you have acne doesn't mean you're not going to reproduce. Not everybody's that shallow. First of all, you shouldn't really care what you look like, honestly. Those are some of the reasons. But I mean, other people do care. You know what I mean? Let's face it. I mean, that's just the way humans are, and really life in general. I mean, life selects life which looks the healthiest. So that's part of the reason that some people never get it. The more complex answer is that everybody's oil composition is different. Everybody's body responds to insulin differently. Everybody's body responds to glycemic loads differently. Everybody has different lifestyle habits. Like some people might, for example, counterbalance the amount of horrible food they eat with more exercise, which isn't necessarily going to prevent acne, but it definitely helps it because your body has higher levels of positive hormones, which counteract the acne hormones. Or not the acne hormones, but the insulin, and really just stress hormones in general. So, there's a lot of different reasons for it. It's not just one thing. If I had to pick like the main thing that it is, it's probably because a lot of people's bodies don't release a lot of oil due to insulin. Some people can get insulin loads and their body doesn't release any oil, or their skin rather doesn't release any oil because of it. And that's probably one of the main reasons that a lot of people don't suffer from it. And that's probably a lot of the reason that a lot of people don't realize that they have a connection, because they see their friends eating the same things they do, and their friends don't have acne, so they're like, oh, it must not have anything to do with it. Well, think again, because everybody's got different ancestry. And I'm kind of wrapping things up here. I don't really want to talk your ear off. I just want to help you. But you can get away with eating really whatever you want, honestly. I mean, you can eat just about anything. I don't care if you eat like, the most sugary cookies in the world. I mean, if you moderate yourself, just like anything else. I mean, that's really the key to life, I think, in general, is just moderating pretty much everything you do, really. I mean, you just kind of want to moderate, your mood, moderate everything. I think moderation is probably one of the and moderation is one thing we find in nature, honestly. I mean, you really either moderation or lack of, you don't really find excessive amounts of sugar in nature. You don't find pizza in nature, you don't find benzoyl peroxide in nature. All you find is just moderate amounts of vegetables and fish and small animals and things like that. So my point is that I'm not telling you never to eat this stuff. But you just want to kind of reduce it to more manageable quantities. I mean, and the more so that you do that, the more so that you'll notice a difference. And honestly, in your health in general, this isn't just about acne. It's about health. I mean, if you follow these guidelines, you'll probably find that you have more energy. I can't say that with any more confidence, really. I mean, I noticed a huge difference between, when I was eating garbage all the time and when I started eating real food. I started becoming way more energetic. And same thing goes with drugs and stuff. Like if you're doing drugs all the time, that's not gonna help. It's not gonna help your skin. It's just that's making it even worse because now your body's got food problems and it's got all kinds of hormone problems. So just try and stay away from all types of drugs, especially caffeine or any type of stimulants. You really don't want to be taking any type of like Adderall or any type of amphetamines or doing cocaine or really anything, any type of stimulants or really drugs in general. I mean, they're not gonna. It's kind of getting off the topic, but it is kind of on topic as well because those all have to do with your mental state and your physical state too. And the healthier your body is, the better it's going to be able to deal with these changes. I mean, just because you're healthy, though, doesn't mean your body's not going to release insulin. I mean, you could be the healthiest person in the world. I've seen some athletes that are excellent athletes that have extremely severe acne. So it's not like it's necessarily correlated 100%, but take my word for it when I say that, if you increase your lifestyle, if you increase the beneficial aspects of your lifestyle, like for example, eating healthy food like vegetables, organic vegetables, eating lean meats, small amounts of lean meats, eating legumes, which is beans, and a variety. And really, you can eat just about everything. Just do a variety. Your diet is supposed to be mostly vegetables, though. We are herbivores, so you just kind of want to do that. As long as you do that for the most part, I mean, you can get away with doing splurging here and there and having a good time and going out and partying and stuff. It's not like you have to, end your life and stuff for this, but it's just all about, making positive changes, in general, really, and just kind of progressing. And that's all I got for you right now. Might come out with some more stuff, but and in the end, eat whatever you want, but now you know.